So how are we going to make that fit the crosshead? Well, let me show you. Now, many years ago, when you're setting your workshop up, you end up purchasing something that then sits and lingers in the corner of your workshop, just staring at you thinking, one day I'm going to become useful and he's going to use me. And today is that day, because today we finally use the rotary table. Yes, I have set up the rotary table on Bridget. I ended up making this pin here in the middle, which goes into the rotary table to locate, hopefully, the centre, within a few thou. We have our connecting rod clamped to rotary table. Rotary table moves. And here, I don't know if you can see this, I've actually scribed on some lines where I don't want the cutter to go past. I've found the centre, so this is centred to the bush, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to skim around that edge. Hopefully this works, because if it doesn't, well, now its current size is 41. Well, we're calling it 41. That'll be of the millimetres. I reckon we should be able to come down to possibly 35. What have we gone to? Nice. Now, I'm not saying that this is the greatest thing in the world, using a rotary table, but it is rather interesting, even with its backlash. It did really well, and it's making me wonder, what other things can we cut on a rotary table? Now that is a future episode. Oh yes, we've cut off exactly 5mm over the entire diameter. That's 2.5mm here, so I think we should go try it. Well, that's boring. So we are back to the scene of the crime. Well, not a crime, but the fact that we made that too small. So let's hope it fits now. Looking good, looking good. Oh, it's going in, it's going in. It fits, it fits. That's as far as we can go. Oh my. Oh my. Look at that. Now hopefully you didn't become like an excited dog and wet yourself seeing that move, because that was pretty damn exciting. Now what we have to do is figure out how we're going to stop these rods from falling off, and then we can get on with the wiggly bits of the valve gear. But that was a great success. Now that we are happy as a cat sniffing catnip that the connecting rods now fit, we need to make some spaces to fit in, well, you know, between the bearings. And an outside piece that holds it all on to stop it falling off. As usual, I don't have anything the correct size in stock, but it's going to clamp the bearings together. That's all it's going to do. So all I have in stock is this piece of brass that's going to do the job. And if you recall, a few episodes ago, which is probably a long time ago now, I already used it to make the spaces at the back of the first set of bearings that went on. Why I didn't machine down more knowing that I was going to need it, I have no idea. But we're going to waste a lot of more brass, so... As you can see, it sprays everywhere. Nice, that'll do it. Right, let's get the hole in it. Perfect. Lovely jubbly. If you're liking what you're seeing on the channel right now and you haven't done already, then how's about considering clicking the subscribe button? It's free. Yeah, absolutely free to do that. And don't forget to hit the notification bell too. Again, free, and you'll get a notification when we next release one of these fantastic videos. And don't forget to hit the like button. Now that one's free too, and that will help this video share around to like-minded folk who are interested in STEAM and engineering and all that good stuff. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, then how's about considering becoming a channel sponsor using the YouTube memberships, which there's a link in the description down below. And that is for the grand total of £3 a month, which is probably the cost of a coffee, a bacon butty, a decent pie. Well, I think it's less than a pint. And all the money goes back into the channel to create more content. And talking of the content, let's get back to it. So we're going to use the same bit of material that we've used for the spacers. There's not much to these really, it's a hole in the middle. We'll take a little bit off the diameter and then it's just facing them off. Oh, and they've got countersink. Nice. That should do. $40. Bang on, that'll do. Right, we'll get an hole in it, a chamfer, and then I'll cut one off. Beautiful. Nice. Let's have a little look. That'll do us. That'll do us nicely. 10mm. So the amount of people that said to me when I got rid of the Harrison how that was going to be a big mistake and I'd regret it. Well, the more I use this machine, the more I enjoy it. It's an absolute joy to work with. It's far more accurate than the Harrison. Don't get me wrong, the Harrison was a good lathe and would have done everything I wanted it to. But I'm enjoying this one a lot more. Right, so we're going to get the little recess in here. I'm going to make it 10 thou. That should be plenty. That should be it. That should be R25 or slightly over. Yeah, that'll do. So the crank pin is 25mm and the bearing outer is probably 3 or 4mm. So it's going to just sit on that edge, and it makes sure that the inner bearings are all clamping together and then the outside bearings are all free. That's all, there's nothing, not doing anything fancy. So we are at the mill and I've got a bit of scrap here clamped in the vise, which I've skimmed the top off, put an M8 thread in it and put our retainer, bearing retainer thing on. And what I've got to do is we need to stop this countersink here from spinning out. So I need to drill a hole here on the edge for a grub screw, which is going to hold this all from undoing. So I've got to put a 4mm hole in here through both of them, and then on one of these brass bits here I've got to put an M6 thread, which will be for the lubricator. Yes, I thought so. It's pushing it over. Right, what am I going to do here? Right, I swapped to a 4mm cutter. Going to see if we can get through this bit of stainless. And obviously this is softer, so it wants to wander that way. Right. I think we should be past the stainless there. Right, I'll switch that drill again and try again. Right. So that will stop now, countersink, from unturning when it's in the Loco. Once we've got it all on and tightened down, we'll take the grub screw out and just put a little dimple in the end of the crank pin for that to then locate into, and that will stop the whole lot from moving. Right, let's get the spacer on. Beautiful fit. So that, with the bearing on the outside, will clamp against that bearing there, that inner surface. Push it all together. And put the rod back on. It's not tight, it's just a pain to get hold of. And then we can put the end cap on. Like so, and then that grub screw there. Well, once it's all together properly, we'll just put a little dimple in the end of the crank pin just to locate that, just to make sure that doesn't the whole lot spin off. Now those of you with those eagle eyes may notice I have blocked up the front of the frames, so there's nothing under the wheels. That could only mean one thing: will it go all the way around? Oh yes, it does. That's just beautiful.